Boom! Ha ha! How you doing? I'm Thundercloud here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after it rains. Let's have some fun and linguistic games. Everybody knows Mum calls me James. Hey, welcome to Chillin Tuesday on this Tuesday, the 11th of July, 2023. Oh, wow. Let's begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I broadcast and the land right across this continent now called Australia. Well, from here, that's the Kamilaroi and the Banbai people and all the other different nations right across this here continent. To acknowledge the continuing connection to the land of the elders past and present, and to acknowledge sovereignty has never been ceded. A treaty is what is required, wanted and needed. Okay, let's move right along on this Chillin Tuesday. Yeah, the weather will be wonderful here in Ghoolendaadi like it was today. It reached up to like 14 or 15 degrees almost in the sun out of the wind. And like that's wonderful. And it got quite chilly, -1, bit under -1 this morning with lots of frost about. And it's quite cold out there, but tomorrow apparently it's going to could even get up to 16. That'll be like one of the hottest December, it's not December, July. I don't know, it's a pretty hot July day anyway. I know if I get a chance, I'll be sitting out in the sun. Cup of Irish tea there. Yeah, what about St. Patrick, eh? Yeah, that murderous genocidal druid killer that he was. Alright, well, let's move right along. We got a few things happening here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. In August, we've got the Ghoolendaadi heat of the Australian Poetry Slam. That's like super duper exciting. So all you poets out there in regional New South Wales that live too far away from the coastal venues or stuff like that, you can come to Ghoolendaadi on the Wednesday night, the Wednesday the 16th of August. So check it out on the Facebook page and the website. There's links to the event page where you can sign up for free if you're a poet, and bring your family, because the slam judges are picked randomly from the audience, and if your family happen to get pick one of them, they might be able to vote higher for you. Who knows? Anyway, the Australian Poetry Slam, but also on the August the 15th, which is the Tuesday, the day before, we've got a workshop, which is how to do slam, how to write slam, what is slam, etc., yada, 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 yada. So really looking forward to that. Now, all of these things cost money, so in the description underneath, I'm going to put the Australian Poetry Hall's PayPal link, and if you can make a generous donation, that would be appreciated. But the other thing is that in November, we've got a fantastic festival here happening from the 12th to the 19th, Poets on the Mountain Festival in Ghoolendaadi, including the Australian Bush Poetry Film Festival. Now you can look that up on filmfreeway.com, and we're taking entries now. So keep your eye out. The Australian Bush Poetry Film Festival, one of a kind, first in the world, run here from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame to coincide with the Poets on the Mountain Festival in November, from November 12th to November 19th. And included in that Poets on the Mountain Festival, this is the big news, is the Australian Bush Poets Association New South Wales Bush Poetry Championship, right here, out there in the auditorium in Ghoolendaadi at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, November 18th, 19th. Check it out on the website. There'll be more details as the entry forms get uploaded and all of that, and the categories get worked out. There'll be a written competition, there'll be an oral, there'll be original, serious, original, humorous, but also old poets stuff as well that you can recite. There's also going to be a young people's competition. So that is just fantastic news. But what happens? Well, all of this kind of stuff costs lots of money to put on. We got to invite judges up here to get the best judges in Australia. Of course, bush poetry judges. We need to pay them. We need to give them accommodation. We also need to offer prize money. So in the link in the description, there is the PayPal address of the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. And if you can generously give, that would be really appreciated. Now, before I go on and read you any poetry, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Do it now, please. That'd be really appreciated. Thank you very much for doing that. And tell us, who is your favourite poet in the comments? Right. Who is your favourite Australian poet that you love? Go and do it now. Now, I'm getting ready. Tonight, I've got received from a wonderful poet, he's just made her debut in her wisdom years, that's better. I was looking for the right words. Diana Pearce, Going to Orange. I'll be reading out of this tonight, and as this has been published by Giramondo Press, Diana's given me permission, and she actually told me, as we talked on the phone today, and arrived just today, she said we talked about the different poems, and she sort of related different bits of her life to the particular poems within this. So I'm going to be reading them out from front to back, and in the ones that she recommended. So I've got about 12 poems of Diana Pearce, Going to Orange. Now, also with Diana Pearce's Going to Orange, 2 of her poems in that book that I just showed you appeared in this book here, Messages from the Embers, published in 2020. Quite a serious topic, this one. It's From Devastation to Hope, Australian Bushfire Poetry Anthology, edited by Julia Kaylock and Denise O'Hagan. Now, this is a fundraiser book, it was, for Blaze Aid, helping communities rebuild after natural disasters. So if you'd like to look this book up online and buy it from Blaze Aid to help them out, Messages from the Embers, and I won't be reading out of this because it is under copyright, but this one I can read out of because Diana's given me permission to read her poems from there. Now, but starting tonight, well, I thought I'd start with one of my own. This is Love and Lust in Nimbin. That's the name of the poem, but on that particular note, I have myself published 4 books, which are Love in Nimbin, Lust in Nimbin, Poetry to End Prohibition, and my new release, Jan Bung's Peaceful Protest in Nimbin. So, Love and Lust in Nimbin, here we go. Love and lust in Nimbin. It could have been apples and peas, or sleeping on a doorstep, smelling of vomit and blue cheese. Love and lust in Nimbin. It could have been living in a human zoo, or angry fascist bully boys, or rainbow hippie spew. Love and lust in Nimbin. It could have been Aquarius and peace, or OD on a Saturday morning, cannabis communes and trees. But love and lust in Nimbin, our eternal dream time too, and songs for our corroborees, for our widgeable ancestors too. Love and lust in Nimbin, it's what came to my mind. I'm living in the country eating peaches all the time. Love and lust in Nimbin. Take a peek inside. You'll love all of my little books, and you'll buy them, you'll decide. Yeah, check them out on Amazon. I'll put the links to them in the description as well below. And you can check them out. Exactly. My books, they're great. They got this one here, Poetry to End Prohibition. It's all about harm minimisation and why we need to end prohibition of all drugs and end the drug war so that we can make sure that people stop ODing and dying from drugs, and we can get help for addicts, and addicts can get access to safe substances. All right, moving right along, let's look at the book Going to Orange by Diana Pearce. Now, I'll read you her biography about the author. Diana Pearce is a retired primary school principal. Following her retirement, she completed a master's degree at UTS. Her final subject included a collection of her poems. The everyday inspires her work: urban development, childhood memories, domestic activities, and her environment. She was awarded a mentorship from the Hunter Writers Centre with Ross Gilbert. She continues to work with him as participating in local workshops and online courses run by the Writers Centre at Rozelle, Sydney. Now, we had a lovely conversation. We've had a few, to tell you the truth. And one of the ones that we had, Diana recounted a story where she used to, as the principal of a school, get up at parade time and tell poetry to the students. And many years later, 30 years later, one of the students recognised her and said, "Oh, Miss, do you still tell poems and stuff like that to the students?" So yeah, that's the kind of effect that poets and poetry have on students. So yeah, wonderful, isn't it? And that what a lovely story that is. All right, so Going to Orange, it says in the front, best wishes to James and the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, Diana Pearce. And this was published by Giramondo Press in this year, actually, 2023. And you know how I came across it? Because what happened, a couple from down where she's from, Sydney way, somewhere like that, or the South Coast, I'm not too sure, came in here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, and we had a look around, loved the place, and we got to yarn, and they said, "Oh, our neighbour, well, she's a poet, she's got a book of poetry, and I just loved it, and I connected, and blah, 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 blah." And what was their name? Phil and Julie, I think their names were. Anyway, Julie took my details, and the next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call from Diana Pearce here. And we had a lovely yarn, and she offered to send me a book. So she sent me a book, and this one, and both of them arrived this morning. So I called her back, and we had another yarn, and so here we go. We'll begin at the beginning, as I said I would, with the one that I've already marked, The Beach. Now, a little bit of background about this one in Diana's words. This was one of her COVID poems, The Beach. Above the riderless waves that break like white robes across the rocks, a lone skua wheels on autumn's air, sheltered between the sandstone cliffs, a narrow stretch of buttery sands, damp fringed by an ebbing tide. Snugged against one cliffside, the local surf club, doors shut, its guardians gone. A gossip of gars scrabbling for scraps on an empty beach, filled by two words: stay home, gouged deep into the sand, impervious to the blustery wind. Lovely. Yeah. Next one. What have I got for you? Renewal. I smell the dusts of demolition. Watch long shadows creep across green spaces. Listen to children's voices echoing in high-rise canyons. At night, I dream of houses I no longer remember. The next one is called Post-Dawn at Canterbury, and Diana recounts the story to me. After she retired as a principal, she was taking part-time work marking NAPLAN tests, and they were all meeting at a large auditorium kind of building room somewhere at Canterbury Racecourse in Sydney. And this is post-dawn at Canterbury. The racecourse is quiet today. Ghost mists hover above the grass. In a slow retreat from the sun, a birdless pond glimmers silver. No longer the preening confidence of an alertness of horses, no passing shower of cheers from weekday punters. Indoors, vacant spaces fill with the hum of empty escalators. Small television sets play loops of past races over and over and over. To the south, a predation of single-armed steel cranes watch in silence. This one's called Summer Rain, after Angus Niverson, Newcastle Art Gallery, 2019. I sit on our veranda, listen to rain's timpani on the iron roof, its chorus in the tank's overflow. Breathe the dampness in the air. Watch water cascade like shafted light. See it become blood as it scours the tree-dead hillsides of a distressed land. Ah, yes, this one here, Dusk Flight. Now that's one of the poems that comes out of, also is published in this book here, Messages from the Embers, the Devastation to Hope Australian Bushfire Poetry Anthology. Yeah, so check that out, Blaze Aid, published by Black Quill Press, and all profits from this publication are directed to Blaze Aid, which is a charity that looks after people who have been through bushfire or drought or cyclone or flood or something like that. All right. So this one is called, and it's It's a bushfire song, Dusk Flight. From my balcony, I watch flying foxes dip past, noiseless, close. No birds, these black velvet curves of flight above the city's evensong. Elsewhere, they hang, folded into their wings, speak in hacksaws of sound. After this summer's cauldron, will they be glimpsed only in dreams, or felt in a frisson of air at dusk? This one here, I believe, is also out of Messages from the Embers, Corrugated Iron. Just let me make sure I'm referring to the right ones here. Yep. Dusk Flight and Corrugated Iron, yeah. Lovely tea. Bit of black tea with lemon in it, yummy. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so this is out of the Messages from the Embers Bushfire Poetry Anthology. Corrugated Iron. It was part of our farm, our home. Its dune-like perfection covered and protected everything. Whole constructions of curved precision became part of our landscape. Water tanks, barns, woolsheds. Merkett's prize-winning architecture. It was the white man's bark, the percussion of hail, tap dancing on roofs, rain's overtures. Until the rain stopped, the land dried and cracked, lightning raked down from waterless clouds. The no longer mythic dragons awoke. Today, wrapped in its grief, it covers what it could not protect. Canary. Miners carry songbirds into the darkness. As the sunshine fades, death is a wisp of gas. Who makes music in dark places? Who sings the last notes? Okay, the next one's a bit of a longer one. And what was interesting about this was it's called Cinema Matinee, and here at the Arcadia Theatre in the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, they used to have cinemas here, movies here all the time, and the matinee used to seat 800 people, and they used to pack it out. Can you believe that? Amazing. Excuse me. Cinema Matinee. Oh yes, and that was the other interesting thing. So Diana told me that, and then I had a visit from a First Nations lady from Ginninderra, and who grew up in this town. And I said, yeah, did you ever come to the movies when you were young here? And she said, oh yeah, us black fellas had to sit up the back up here, and the white fellas all sit up the front. All right, Cinema Matinee. I sit in the back row, watch previews, interminable advertisements, sip coffee and wait. Once, A lush red curtain was drawn back, revealing pictures in black and white. Heroes dressed in white, riding white horses, singing as they watched restless cattle under endless prairie skies. Villains dressed in black, riding in black-horsed gangs, smoking thin cigars, peering through narrow eyes, sneering and patting sidearms. Victories were simple, evildoers shot, good triumphant. Today, grey figures walk city streets, trench-coated, watching through dark glasses, ambiguities of roles, purposes unknown. My coffee cup is empty. All right. The next one. Desiccation. My country school reunion was held at the end of a drought-claimed summer, its handiwork showing when I drove past. Desperation of gums, gaunt limbs of the already dead held in supplication to a selfish water god, refreshed by a recent storm. Brown paddocks blushed with a deceptive green. We gathered a greyness of septuagenarians, sharing fairly verdant recollections of school life, decades past, each a disparate memory built into an imperfect whole. At weekend's completion, in the embrace of separation, an aridity came and stood between us. Here's a quick one. Honour. Gold lettering fades on brown boards. Tracks by Diana Pearce from Going to Orange, published in 2023 by Giramondo Press. Tracks. Below pale summer skies, small towns and sidings wait for trains whose parts rust. Under cinnamon grasses, wait for timber, baled wool, and eager travellers. Wait until dreams evaporate under the sun's incandescence. In midsummer eyes squint along shimmering tracks, distorted tracks, lost fumes of burnt coal and diesel intermingle with odours of parched earth, tired grass, and traces of eucalyptus. In the silence we listen for the lonely cry of a forgotten train, once heard as a child, when I peered into the darkness, filled with a fearful excitement, waiting for the breaking scream of a stream-wreathed cyclops. Now only the jarring shrill of cicadas and rasping crows bring life. Okay, the next one's called the Ghoolendaadi Woolshed. This poem was inspired by two photos of the woolshed on Ghoolendaadi, Boggabri, New South Wales at the end of the 19th century, the other late 20th century. Today the shed's door sags, shutters are empty-eyed, tall thistles line a broken fence, an old tank lists. Large woolsheds were new cathedrals built across an old land. My grandfather was its gun shearer, photographed there, with other unsmiling shearers and shed hands standing on arms folded in front of that shed with its curved roof, pristine walls, shining water tank. He toiled beside those men, bending their backs over sheep, dipping, clipping to remove fleeces with handheld shears, ignoring grass seeds buried in lanolin softened hands, listening to the chorus of kelpies herding sheep into catching pens. In the lull of morning breaks, they ate scones, drank strong billy tea, rolled smokes, swapped stories of other sheds. In the stillness of the disused shed, we breathe the incense of their labour. Wow, that was just amazing, fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to having some more time and reading some more of Diana Pearce's Going to Orange. And I'm also really looking forward to reading some messages from the Embers, the Australian Bushfire Poetry Anthology. Okay, I've got a few more things for you. So don't forget to give this a thumbs up and leave a comment, like, who is your favourite poet? Who would you like to see me reading out? Who would you like to see me reading out? Yeah. Look, the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame really does need your help for the putting on the Australian Poetry Bush Poetry Film Festival and the New South Wales Bush Poetry Championship. Yeah, we really do. We got to pay, like, as I said, the judges, the prizes. We need to market it. We need to do a whole lot of things to get it happening. You know, we need to have accommodation for the judges. We need trophies. We need prizes. We do. We need to even put on other artists as well around them and pay poets for performances. So if you can help out, or if you know a sponsor who could throw 10 grand my way to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, to the New South Wales Bush Poetry Championship, well, that'd be even better. So oneenglish1@gmail.com, that's my email, or give us a call here. You can find us easy by going through the website. All right, I've got one more poem for you, and well, there's a bit of a reason why. You see, this poem was written in 2018. It was written for one of my sons. I've got 3 sons. It was written for everybody, really. I just wrote it, but most importantly, it was written for him because it's got one of his names in it, Luca. Luca, you know it's for you. And Clay and Sasha as well. It's for everybody, really, and any other kid that loves it. But yeah, this is called Julius Giraffe. And I don't even know why I got the book, because I know it off by heart. Julius Giraffe was often found trying to lift himself up off the ground, because Julius Giraffe had a dream of flying. He never gave up hope or gave up trying. Julius Giraffe wanted to fly, so he plotted, planned, calculated and applied, but no matter how much he flapped his legs around, Julius Giraffe never got off the ground. Julius Giraffe decided to see if he'd fly like a bird if he jumped from a tree, but Julius Giraffe wasn't a goat. His chance of climbing a tree was quite remote. The baboon yelled out, "Julius, giraffes can't fly, no matter how much you try and you try. Julius Giraffe, you've got a long tongue, a very long legs, long neck, you can run across the savannah and the wide plain. Giraffes aren't meant to fly, I'm just saying. A giraffe isn't a bird and it isn't a fish, nor is it a bacteria in a lab petri dish. Julius Giraffe, you have your own gifts, you're tall and you're grand, you can see far and wide across this here land. Your skinny giraffe legs aren't built for flying. Give up on your dream before you die trying." Julius Giraffe wasn't looking out. He didn't see the poachers lurking about. Next thing he knew, Julius woke up in a cage on the back of a poacher's truck. He cried for his family and the baboon and the rain on the plain. During the monsoon, he was stolen from Africa, taken away, put in an aeroplane and flew that day. The moral of the story, listen to this. Be very discerning for what you wish. The plane suffered engine failure, went into a dive. The pilot bailed out, well, he wanted to stay alive. Julius Giraffe was in luck and found the last parachute. Well, he wingsuited down. He flew through the air and he glided with birds. He did a loop-the-loop and his voice was heard yelling, "I'm a flying giraffe! I'm in the sky! Fantastic, amazing! I'm a giraffe who can fly!" He landed beside the baboon and the tree. I didn't give up hope on my dream and I flew free. It was unexpected. I didn't have to try. I never gave up hope and I got to fly because I never gave up on my hope and my dreams. They came true in the most unexpected way, it seems. I'm a flying giraffe. I didn't die. My dreams all came true and I flew in the sky, said Julius, the flying giraffe. You like that? Yes, you did, didn't you? I'll tell you what, you can buy it if you buy my book, Jane Bunk's Peaceful Protest in Nimbin. It's on page 212. Yes, it is. And you could read it out to your children or grandchildren. Or just read it yourself. Why not? Look, check it out. Google it. It's on Amazon. It's available. You can either download it as a Kindle as for $4.95 or you can buy the whole ebook there online. Wow. All right. I'm Thundercloud here from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. I'm coming to you live from the Seahorse Medicine Cafe. Bar is only vegan and vegetarian cafe, serving the yummiest soups in all day. Yeah, when if you're hot, if you're cold and feeling bold, come on down and drink some soup down and you'll feel warm inside and all around. All right, I'm Thundercloud. Don't forget the link below. You can buy my books. You can also donate to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame and to me running and the New South Wales Bush Poetry Championship and the Poets on the Mountain Festival in Ghoolendaadi in 2023 November. Yes. That's it. I'm out of here. We will catch you tomorrow night for Wednesday Words. Same bat times, same bat channel, but a different day. Not Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm Thundercloud. Boom! I'll see you later.